Okay, we should be live, guys. We should be live. Going no intro today. Just going straight into it. It's a big slate today, so figured I'd try and come on here and spend as much time as I can talking through this slate and answering questions for you guys. It's 11 games tonight, so ton of props to talk about. We'll give out a couple of slips, at least probably one slip, because we do have a discount today on Kevin Porter Jr. 22.5 PRA. Prizepicks giving us a little Taco Tuesday discount. So we're gonna use this discount, talk through some plays I like, and pair those with this. And then, of course, as per usual, over the next hour or so, we will answer questions. We'll react to any news that comes out, whether it be starting lineups, injury news, anything like that. For today's slate, there's not, for it to be an 11-game slate, there's actually not a ton of injury news today. We're still waiting for Joel Embiid. That's kind of the big one. The Sixers do play at 7 o'clock, so we'll probably get news on Joel Embiid during the stream. Prizepicks, all the sites, they're going to be super quick to pull the props if Embiid's out. The best value would be on Andre Drummond props, but there's no props up for Andre Drummond. So I really don't even know if there's going to be plays worth sniping if Embiid gets ruled out. But you can maybe have some overs on Tyrese Maxey if you wanted to. Maybe some overs on VJ Edgecombe, but I'm not going to be trying to get those in. And then a lot of the other news we're waiting on is kind of in some of the later games. I don't even know if we're going to get that on stream, but we'll keep an eye on everything. But I've got a couple plays I like for today that I'll share that we can use with this Kevin Porter Jr. taco. I'll give those out in maybe 15, 20 minutes. Just give people time to get in here. So that way, everyone that's in here can tell. Because I don't know, maybe if I give the plays out, they might bump later. Or by the time I give them out, they might bump in a minute. So we'll just wait for a minute, answer questions first, and then, we'll give out some plays as well. But appreciate all you guys tuning in, man. Always appreciate everyone coming into the streams. I didn't stream yesterday. It was only 3 games yesterday. Felt like it'd be a good day to just take a day off from streaming. It was also really quiet. So there wasn't any injury news yesterday. So if I was gonna not stream, I felt like yesterday would be a good day to do it. But today, 11 games. I wanted to be here, help you guys make some money tonight. So let's go ahead and put this Kevin Porter Jr. taco in there, have it ready, and then we'll be on standby for any news. And I've already got some plays I like I said, that I'll talk about. What's up, Michael, though? See, Michael's in chat, says, what's up, Michael? Appreciate you tuning in, my man. What it do, Noah? What's up, my man? What's up? PJ under points, I like, says 870 Nick. Let's take a look at PJ's under points. I'm assuming that's PJ Washington you're talking about. Let's see. PJ points at 15.5. Let's go ahead and let's pull up Props Madness. Shout out Props Madness. If you guys aren't on Props Madness, don't know what you're doing. Great product, great site. Use code Noah. Get a discount when you sign up. Let's take a look at PJ Washington points. So let's see. So right now, the Mavericks are a little bit more shorthanded. Daniel Gafford's questionable. That's kind of a big one. And then obviously Cooper Flag's out. Anthony Davis not on the team anymore. I could go over all that, but you guys kind of know that already. Let's look at games without Cooper Flag this year. So without Cooper Flag, PJ's only under this line twice, against Minnesota and against the Knicks. Today's matchup against Brooklyn, I would say, is pretty good. You see where PJ scores a lot of his points. 50% of his points this year are coming from spot up and from transition. Brooklyn, they're bottom 5 defending those two play types. So that's not great for the under. PJ scores 64% of his points from within 10 feet. Brooklyn, 27th, so bottom 5 defending, scoring within 10 feet. I don't love the PJ under, personally. That's one I think I'd kind of just stay away from. Let's see where the market has his lines at. So it looks like he's at 15.5 pretty much everywhere. Some sites have him, like Caesars, has him juiced to the over. FanDuel, slightly juiced to the over. Sleeper actually has his line at 16.5. I mean, I guess if you were going to take if you're going to take him under, you probably don't want to do it on Sleeper where he's at 16.5. And you're not laying, you're laying some juice on the under, but not too crazy. The PJ under, though, I'm not in love with that one. Allen under 9 rebounds. Yeah, I see that's a popular play on Prizepicks today. It's one of the most popular plays. We can take a look at it. The matchup against the Knicks is definitely not a good one for rebounds. I think the reason you're seeing so many people betting Allen rebounds is just because of this right here. This whatever 8-game stretch where he's gone over. I think his line's 8.5, or it's at 9 now, like you said. So like a lot of these games were without Evan Mobley. Let's see. So yeah, I think of his last 8 games, I think all those have been without Mobley, except a couple. I mean, Mobley did play in some of those, but I think of his last 8 games, I think 6 of those are without Mobley. Now that Mobley's back, I mean, we can see without Mobley this year, Allen averages 9.6 rebounds per game. With Mobley, he averages 8.3 rebounds per game. So the rebounding numbers definitely take a hit with Mobley back. And then you look at the matchup against the Knicks. I mean, they're 5th in rebounds allowed, so they're top 5, not giving up rebounds. They don't give up really any offensive rebounds. 3rd best, limiting offensive rebounds. 9th best, limiting defensive rebounds. They play at a slow pace. That's not really good for rebounding upside, when it's a slow-paced team. Let's see. Has Jarrett played the Knicks this year? Let's see. Yeah, 2 games against the Knicks this season, 4 rebounds, 8 rebounds. Honestly, all the people that are taking Jarrett Allen rebounds today, I see that's the most popular play on Prizepicks. I feel like they're gonna be let down at the end of the night. I could definitely see Allen going under. It feels like a spot where he goes under. But you never know. I mean, he could go out there and have a big rebounding game, but this definitely, I think, is a spot I'd probably look to stay away. Either stay away or honestly take the under. I mean, let's see. Some sites still have him at 8.5 rebounds, juice to the over. 9.5, juice to the under. I mean, 9's probably the correct line, but like you said, I think I'd actually lean the under. That what Rizzle says. The GOAT Noah. Appreciate you, Rizzle. Appreciate you, my man. Less on Bane. I'm assuming you're asking about Bane points. Yeah, that looks to be another popular play today. I mean, we can take a look at that one for Desmond Bane. So right now, the Magic, they are without Franz Wagner. And Jalen Suggs is questionable. I'm assuming Jalen Suggs will play. But we can see this year, Bane's averaging 20.1 points per game without Franz Wagner. He does get a little bit of a boost, 21.8 points per game. The matchup against the Lakers, you look at where Bane scores his points, it's kind of just a neutral matchup. As a pick and roll ball handler, the Lakers, they 11th, so they're above league average defending pick and roll ball handler. Spot up, they're slightly below league average. Transition, slightly below league average. I don't love it on Bane. I feel like 20.5 is a good line. Most sites have him at 20.5. FanDuel actually has him at 19.5. I don't love it, honestly. If I was taking the over, I guess. The under, I guess you could take the under. I think 20.5 is a good line, though. That's one of those plays I think I just avoid. The Jarrett Allen one, though, that's one I actually do kind of like the under. But yeah, that Bane line feels pretty good to me. I don't think I'd play the over there or the under. I think I'd just stay away. Hey, Noah, thanks for the stream. Sure thing, my man. Sure thing. I'm loving Spida at home tonight. 27.5 points. Let's take a look at Donovan Mitchell. Take a look at Donovan Mitchell's points. It is a big game against the Knicks. I'm pretty sure this is an ESPN game, national TV. So, this is definitely a spot where I think Mitchell does project to play pretty good minutes. Let's take a look at games this year when he plays at least 32 minutes. So he's averaging 28.6 points per game on the season. When he plays at least 32 minutes, he's averaging close to 30 points per game. So that's a plus for Donovan Mitchell. Matchup against the Knicks, I think, is okay. The Knicks have struggled against pick and roll this year, and that's where Mitchell does score 27% of his points. So that's good for Donovan Mitchell. Has he played the Knicks this year? I'm assuming he has. 2 games against the Knicks this season, 31, 34 points. Even with James Harden, since Harden has joined the team, we can see that, Mitchell's still averaging, almost 28 points per game, over in 4 out of 6 games. One of the games he went under was against OKC, which is a terrible matchup. Then he went under against Brooklyn, but he only played 21 minutes against Brooklyn. I don't mind that. I don't mind Mitchell over 27.5 points. I think that's okay. There's some sites out there you could probably get a better price than what Prizepicks is offering. You could actually get his line at 26.5 on FanDuel. But yeah, 27.5 points on Mitchell. I don't mind the over there. I think it is a spot where his minutes will be up a little bit. It's a good matchup too. He's had success in this matchup this season. So a lot of things working in his favor. Matthew G says, W. Noah. Appreciate you, Matthew. Appreciate you, my man. David Wayne. Hey, guys, it's Noah in this motherfucker. Appreciate you, David. Appreciate you. We got a $1 super chat from AJ Kearns. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, my man. Never ask for donations, but anyone who comes in and supports the channel, supports the streams, leaves a super chat. I always appreciate it. So thank you, AJ. Thank you, man. Edwards under fantasy, Drew and Tumani going to be all over him. It's definitely not a great matchup for Anthony Edwards. This Blazers team, they do have really good on-ball defenders, especially Tumani and Drew as well. I wonder how Anthony Edwards has done in this matchup. Has he played the Blazers this year? So he had one huge game against the Blazers, 41 points. Let's see. He had 41 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and then he had one bad game, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Where's his fantasy score line at on Prizepicks? Let's see. I'm assuming it's like in the mid to high 40s probably. Let's see. 45. I mean, that feels like a pretty good line on that. I'd lean the under, honestly. Like you said, it's not a great matchup. He has had some, he did have one bad game against the Blazers this year. I'd lean the under there too, but yeah, that's one of those lines that, like, that's one of those I think feels pretty good. Feels pretty good to me. Let me see, let me go scroll back up. David Wayne's saying 8 and 6.5 field goal attempts. Man, DeAndre Ayton, I don't know what's been going on with him lately. He's really been struggling. His minutes have been down too. Like, he's just not been playing well. I mean, last game against the Clippers, he played 25 minutes, 28 minutes, 29 minutes. Even in these games when he's getting decent minutes, like, he's just not involved in the offense at all. I think the matchup's okay. The Magic, they rank about league average when it comes to giving up points in the restricted area. They are giving up points in the paint. They're 26th. So I guess that's working for Ayton, but like there's no minutes security with him right now. Like, he could play 20 minutes tonight and I would not be surprised. I will say Jackson Hayes is out, so like theoretically that should be good for his minutes. I mean, you can see without Jackson Hayes this year, he's averaging, in terms of minutes per game on the season, 28 minutes per game. Without Jackson Hayes, 31.5. So he's got that working for him. But, these games were also like way earlier in the season when he was actually playing well. Right now, I mean, Ayton's just playing terribly. He's just not doing anything. He's not involved in the offense. He's struggling on defense. I guess you could buy low. Maybe this is the spot where his minutes come up. Maybe Jackson Hayes being out is a good thing for him. Last time Jackson Hayes was out, I mean, he only played 20 minutes. In a game they won by 4. He did have 2 fouls in the first quarter, it looks like, but that's not great. These other games, though, without Jackson Hayes, he was over 30 minutes. Maybe this is the game he plays over 30 minutes. I'm not confident in that, but if you want to bet some DeAndre Ayton overs, I guess you could. I mean, you're getting some low lines on him, that's for sure. I don't think we've seen a points prop on Ayton like below 10 all season. His line's at 9 on Prizepicks, it looks like. And then field goal attempts, I mean, yeah, you would think if he scores 10 points, he's probably going to have 7 field goal attempts. I'd be a little skeptical there. What's up, Noah? You like any Kuminga props and Chris Middleton props? So Kuminga's going to be making his debut with the Hawks. Like, we really don't know what we're going to get here. So Jonathan Kuminga hasn't played since, January 22nd. So he's been out for over a month. Obviously on the Warriors, he was in and out of the rotation. I'm expecting Kuminga to have a decent role off the bench. Like, I think he probably plays like 18 to 20 minutes. The matchup's obviously fantastic. I mean, facing the Wizards, like, that's the best possible matchup. And especially for a player like Jonathan Kuminga, who gets a lot of his points from driving to the basket, scoring around the rim. I mean, that's where the Wizards struggle. They're 28th in points allowed within 10 feet, 28th in points allowed in the restricted area. That's working in his favor. I just think there's just not enough, like, I don't have enough confidence in his minutes. Maybe you could bet some alts on Jonathan Kuminga, like maybe bet him for like 15 points and just, if this is the game that he plays like 20, 25 minutes, like maybe he just crushes his projections. But I just don't know how many minutes he's going to play. That scares me. But there's paths to him playing more. If this game's a blowout, like maybe he would play in a blowout. I don't know. Don't know how the Hawks plan on using him. But we'll see. I like the matchup, though, that's for sure. And your other question was on Chris Middleton. So Chris Middleton started last game for the Mavs. I'm guessing he'll be in the starting lineup again. Look, old man Middleton, he wasn't really doing much on the on the Wizards, but since he's joined the Mavs, like he's actually kind of been productive. How many games has he played with Dallas? I don't think he's played a ton with Dallas, but let me look at that real quick. Let's see. So I believe he's played 2 games with Dallas, I think. Let's see here. Maybe he's played more than that. Let's see. We'll look it up on StatMuse. He's played 4 games. So like let's look at his last 4 games on Props Madness. Let's see. So last 4 games, these are with the Mavericks. He had 13 points in 22 minutes, was coming off the bench. He played 21 minutes off the bench, and then I believe the last 2 games he has started, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did start that game, and then he did start the Pacers game. And when he was on the Wizards, I mean, we never saw Middleton play like more than like 28 minutes, but the last 2 games he started, he's played 30 minutes in both games. So obviously they want to play Middleton. I mean, they're starting him, they're playing him 30 minutes right now. You know, he's typically been a productive player when he gets minutes. At this point in his career, though, obviously things are a lot different, but the role's been good with Dallas. The role's growing. The minutes are going up. He's got that working in his favor. I don't hate it. I don't hate looking at some Middleton props. Maybe like, let's see, 14.5 points is on Prizepicks. Let's see. What else do they have? PRA, 22.5. Maybe 22.5 PRA. Well, looks like Prizepicks has him at 23. Do they have a fantasy lineup for Middleton? Let's see. I think they do. I think it's 27, if I'm not mistaken. Like maybe 27 fantasy score, you could look at that. I don't hate that. I mean, if he plays like 30 minutes, you probably expect him to average close to a fantasy point per minute, maybe a little bit more than that. Don't hate that one. What about Terrence Mann over points and assists? I think 7.5 is too low. Yeah, so Terrence Mann's kind of like, he's like an end of the bench guy for the Nets right now. You know, this Nets team, they do kind of run a deeper rotation. They typically play like a 10-man rotation. I mean, the last few games, Mann has, he's played 17 minutes, 22 minutes, 24 minutes. I would assume if you look at his games with like 15 to 20 minutes this year, because I think that's probably what he projects for. Let's take a look at that. So 15 to 20 minutes this season. So when he's at 15 to 20 minutes, I mean, he's only over 7.5 PA, 3 out of 10 games. So he's under in 7 out of 10. Some of those games where he, had big games, he was playing more minutes. But like right now, I mean, last game he was only at 17 minutes. I think he probably projects for around that number, 17 to 18 minutes. At 7.5, probably just stay away, honestly. I feel like that's a good line. His line is at 8.5 on DraftKings, but it's a one-way market, so you can't actually bet the under. You can only bet the over. So, yeah, I'd probably just stay away there. Just my opinion. Evan Mobley's on a minutes restriction. Yeah, he's going to be on minutes restriction. We kind of already knew that, though. If you're asking, like, for the Jared Allen prop, I mean, yeah, we knew Mobley was going to be limited. Mobley did play 25 minutes last game, though, so maybe he plays like 28 today. He's not playing like 36 minutes, but he should still get high 20s. What do you think of Portis over on offensive rebounds? Offensive rebounds. I don't know if I've taken an offensive rebounds prop all season. Let's see. Portis offensive rebounds at 1.5. Well, let's look at the matchup against the Heat. I know the Heat on the glass this year have actually kind of been pretty bad. Let's see. So the Heat ranked 29th in rebounds allowed, 22nd in offensive rebounds allowed. So it's definitely a good rebounding matchup for Portis. And they play at the fastest pace in the league, so that's always good for rebounds. Betting on offensive rebounds like that just feels like, I don't know, feels like a tough stat to project out, but it is a good rebounding matchup for Portis. Maybe I'd look at like 6 rebounds instead, honestly. If I was going to take anything, I might take 6 rebounds instead of offensive rebounds, but that's a prop. If you like it, man, feel free to take it. I try not to bet on offensive rebounds. I think that's just like a really tough stat type to project out. Am I the only one who's thinking of picking Kuminga PRA should get decent minutes if this is a blowout? I mean, yeah, that's if he does play in the blowout. We don't know. Again, first game with the Hawks. How are they going to use him? We really have no idea. Maybe he'll be, maybe he'll play in garbage time. I'm not confident in that, though. Hero's back in his hometown. Bucks keep it close. He clears 24.5 PRA with ease. We'll see. I know he's been playing well lately. He is coming off the bench right now, but that really hasn't impacted his minutes too much. I mean, last game he played 23 minutes, 23. Some of these were blowouts too. Like they won by 31, they won by 16. You look at Hero's lines like right now, and you're like, damn, really good hit rates. But obviously things are different right now because he's kind of working his way back from injury. I think 23.5 is probably a good line on Hero. Or 24.5. That's where most sites have him at. DraftKings does have him at 25.5 though. Prizepicks has him at 25. You can get some 24.5s though on some books, like FanDuel's at 24.5. Feels like a good line for Hero. Don't think I'd be like running to bet any overs on him. But like you said, if you want to play the hometown narrative, I mean, sure. I try not to bet off of narratives though. How likely you think the James Harden taco will hit? I mean, what was the discount was like 8 points. I mean, an 8-point discount, man, like that's pretty good. You could probably, I'm sure there's math behind that. You take that the original line of 31.5, discount it down to 23.5, and I'm sure that's like what 79-80% chance of hitting, most likely. It's a good play. If it doesn't hit, oh well, but you should still be taking it. Speaking of the taco, let's go ahead and give out a couple plays for this Kevin Porter Jr. taco. So let's switch back over to Prizepicks. I've got 2 plays that I'm looking at for tonight, and we'll give those out to pair with this taco. So I doubt we're going to get like any injury news. Like I doubt there's going to be any plays that we're going to be able to snipe. I was going to try and wait for that, but like right now it's just looking like it's going to be kind of a quiet news day. So let's just go ahead and talk about a couple plays. So the first one that I was looking at, hopefully the line hasn't moved. Let's see. Where is it at? Okay, it did go down half a point. Damn. It went down half a point. Honestly, I think still it looks solid though. So let's take this one. Let's go Jeremiah Fears under 24.5 fantasy scores. So the Pelicans right now, they are expected to get back DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is actually expected to make his season debut today. And Jordan Poole has been out of the rotation, but he's been back in the rotation the last few games. So the Pelicans have more guard depth right now. Like where Jeremiah Fears is not guaranteed to play like really, really big minutes. He'll probably come off the bench and play like 20 to 24 minutes if I had to guess. We can actually look at this season. Let's take a look at Fears. So Trey Murphy is out right now. So obviously Trey Murphy being out does matter for sure. We can look without Murphy this season in terms of like PRA. He's averaging about 23.3 PRA per game. But, some of these games Jordan Poole didn't play in. Obviously DeJounte Murray wasn't in these games. Murray should be back. He's going to play limited minutes. I saw someone in the chat said that. He will be playing limited minutes, but that's still another body in the rotation, that could potentially take minutes away from Fears. And then, Poole's back in the rotation now. But if we just look at games this year, when Fears plays between like 20, let's just say 20 to 25 minutes, because I think that's what he projects for tonight. With 20 to 25 minutes, he's averaging 18.2 PRA per game, which probably equates to like 22 fantasy points. Fears, he's not really like a big steals and blocks guy. He will turn the ball over, so that we have that working in our favor. So I think 24.5 fantasy just looks like a little bit of a high line. I think this line should be like 22.5. I think 24.5 is just a bit high. I want to say last game, let's see. So if we look at his minutes lately, he was at 29 minutes, and then last game he did come down to 25 minutes, and that was with Poole playing. I'm expecting about 22 to 25 minutes tonight. So yeah, under 24.5 fantasy on Jeremiah Fears. I do like that for tonight. And then let's see if I can find the other play. So the other play that I was looking at, this player might wind up starting. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he will, but he might. But let's look at a prop on Nick Richards. So Jalen Smith is out for the Bulls tonight. Joe Smith, their starting center. In the games that Jalen Smith has missed, like as of late, they've been starting Yabu at center. But Yabu's been starting at the 4 lately. So there's 2 things they could do here. They could start they could move Yabu from the 4 to the 5 and then start like another guard like Colin Sexton, or maybe they go with the wing, start with like Patrick Williams, or they could opt to play big and start Nick Richards alongside Yabu. Even if Nick Richards comes off the bench, I still think he's going to play probably mid-20s minutes, probably like 22 to 24. Maybe he could play more. We'll see. But I think 22 to 24 minutes. But I'm looking at his PRA at 15.5. It's actually the same as his PR. His PR is at 15.5 as well. So obviously there's just better value on PRA, especially when you're playing on Prizepicks where everything's the same price. You take PR, you take PRA, it's the same price. Like you still get the 6x payout. So you might as well take PRA. You don't expect Nick Richards to get assists, but like you never know. Maybe he gets 1 assist, maybe he gets 2 assists. I think this, like the last few games he's had, let's see. He's had 0 assists all of his last few games, but again, since there's PRA at 15.5, we'll just take that instead. But I'm expecting Nick Richards to play about 22 to 24 minutes here. Let's look at games this year. So he hasn't played a ton of games with the Bulls. I think he's played like 5 games since he's been with the Bulls. Let's see. He's played 6 games with the Bulls. His minutes in these 6 games, we can actually just look at those 6 games. So this is what he's done in his 6 games with the Bulls. He's averaging 15.5 PRA per game. And you look at the games he's gone over: Denver, Brooklyn, the Knicks. Look at the games he went under. I mean, these are all terrible matchups. The Celtics, the Raptors, the Pistons, like those are some of the best defensive teams against centers. The Hornets, they've been better this year defending centers, but they're still not like the best matchup, or they're still not like the worst matchup. You can actually see where they give up points. I mean, the Hornets are giving up some points in the restricted area. 64% of Nick Richards' points this year are in the restricted area. The Hornets are bottom 10 defending that, that shooting zone. We can see Nick Richards scores 85% of his points within 10 feet. The Hornets are below league average defending, allowing points within 10 feet. So I think the matchup's not that bad. It's also a revenge game for all my narrative people in the chat. It is a revenge game for Nick Richards. He used to play for the Hornets. But if we expect Nick Richards to play like 22 to 24 minutes, this is a player who typically throughout his career has been fairly productive when given minutes in terms of just being able to score, being able to get rebounds. Maybe he gets an assist or 2. I think 15.5 PRA is a bit low, though. I do. We can see, this game against the Nuggets, that was without Jalen Smith. This game against the Nets was without Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith was out this game against Boston. We can actually see his PRA in that game was at 16.5, and that was a much worse matchup against Boston. He did go under, but it looks like Jalen Smith was back this game. Jalen Smith played in this game, and then Jalen Smith, I think, played in this game as well. But 2 of these games, where he had really good games, those were without Jalen Smith. Last time Jalen Smith was out, he did really struggle, but it was a really bad matchup. So I think it's a good spot for Nick Richards. I think the minutes will be solid. 15.5 PRA. I do like the over there. Let's actually look. Let's see. Just look at games when he plays between like 20 to 24 minutes. Obviously, there's not much of a sample this season. So like this season, when he's at 20 to 25 minutes, he's averaging 15.3 PRA per game. Like I said, the 2 games he's gone under, Houston, Boston, terrible matchups. Last season, he averaged 17 PRA per game when playing between 20 to 25 minutes. The season before that, 18 PRA per game when playing between 20 to 25 minutes. So yeah, I think 15.5 is a bit low. Especially, and there's upside here. Like there's a chance that they might start him. I don't think he's going to start, but they could opt to do that. They could opt to start him in this spot. So we're going to roll with this. 3 picks for today, guys. I'm going to lock this in. And I'll, if you guys want to tail, feel free. Just going to do, the $5 limit on the taco. Whatever your limit is on the taco, I guess you could just max it out if you want to. But yeah, that'll be our official slip for today. And then we'll see if there's anything else that comes out. We did just get news that Joel Embiid is playing tonight, so that's good. Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre, Barlow, Embiid, so that starting lineup is as expected, so nothing to note there. And then I think we're still waiting for the Pacers starting lineup, so we'll keep an eye on that one, see if it's anything that maybe we don't expect. But yeah, I did want to get that slip out for those that did want to tail. Let me scroll up and answer some of these questions that I missed. Nathan says, Noah, how likely do you think... Oh, I already answered that one. Brandon says, what up, gang? Let's go, Noah. I need a money-making stream slip. Hopefully this is the one, man. Hopefully this is the one. I like both these plays. I really do. I really do. And hopefully the taco hits. Miles Turner has good history versus Bam, but every time I bet is over, he fails. Let's look at that. Let's see. How many times have they played the Heat this year? He did have one game, 24 points. Last season on the Pacers, 22 points, 21 points. Yeah, he's had some big games, for sure. His role is definitely different now than obviously last season when he was on the Pacers. I feel like, let's see, does he take a lot of threes? So it looks like he took 5 threes. Yeah, Miles Turner, like a lot of his shots are like he shoots like a lot of above the break threes. I was about to say if the Heat give up a lot of above the break threes, that's good for Miles Turner. But it looks like they do. I mean, 24, they rank 24th, so they're bottom 10 in the league. Almost 50% of Miles Turner's points come from above the break threes. So that's working for him. I don't hate it. I think it is a decent matchup. Looks like if you're on FanDuel, you can get his points at 11.5. A little bit of juice, but that's okay. I don't hate that. How do you feel about Vucevic fantasy? He sells a ton, but still, yeah, Vuce has let me down a few times. Jaylen Brown is out tonight, so that definitely should be a plus for Vuce. We haven't seen Vuce play a game for the Celtics without Jaylen Brown yet, but you would think without Brown, that's going to benefit him. I want to see, I'm sure it's a small sample, but let's see how many minutes that Vuce has played this year without Brown and then with Brown. It's going to be like a really small sample, so it's probably not even anything worth really mentioning. Let's pull up Add More Funds. This is a great site as well. You can look at like fantasy points per minute. You can look at usage rates. Let's go to the Celtics. Let's see. So this season, since he's been with the Celtics, Vuce is averaging right around a fantasy point per minute. Not surprising. Let's look at the minutes he's played with Jaylen Brown on the court. So alongside Jaylen Brown, he has averaged 0.81 fantasy points per minute. So obviously production goes down. Let's take a look at the minutes he's played without Jaylen Brown. See how much it changes. Again, we're looking like a really small sample here, but without Jaylen Brown, only 30 minutes, 1.51 fantasy points per minute. Damn. Yeah, I mean it's only a 30-minute sample, but Vuce has crushed without Jaylen Brown on the floor this year. I want to say, I think his fantasy line was at 27.5, and I think it only went up a point after Jaylen Brown got ruled out. I was actually expecting it to go up more. The only thing with Vuce is, he's coming off the bench, so he's probably only going to play like max 26, 28 minutes, unless like Keita gets in foul trouble. Because so far, the Celtics have not overlapped Keita and Vuce. Like those two guys are pretty much just splitting the center minutes. But I would expect Vuce to be productive per minute for sure. He's been very productive in the minutes he's played without Jaylen Brown this year. Don't hate it at 28.5. Like I feel like the line should probably be like 30. 28.5 is okay. I don't hate it. You think Edwards gets 25 points? Sleeper has that as a promo? I mean, I would hope so. His points prop is what? I think it's 28.5, 29.5, 28.5. I mean, yeah. You're getting a discount. I mean, it's a 4-point discount, so it's not anything great, but it's still a good bet. Still a good bet. Kaishan George over 3.5 rebounds. I'll be honest, man. Like at this point, bro, I'm just tired of betting on Wizards players. Like this team is just so unpredictable. Like maybe Kaishan plays more, but like as of late, he's been playing like 20 minutes max. Like, since they've started doing this whole tanking thing, he's been at 20 minutes, 20. He did get 26 in this game. He actually played 26 minutes in a blowout. 18, 19. That was a blowout. He only played 19 minutes. 24, 19, 18. So, like, he's probably playing 18 to, like, 24 minutes, most likely. With 18 to 24 minutes this year, he's averaging 3.6 rebounds per game. So the line feels about right to me. And, like, there's just so much downside. Like, he could play 15 minutes. Who knows? I'd be surprised if he plays more than 25. So I would definitely, if you're looking at Wizards props, do not look at like their whole season stats, because like those are pretty much meaningless. Like if you look at any Wizards players whole season stats, like you're going to see some very high hit rates. But right now they're just like, with how they're using their rotations, tanking, playing so many guys, like it's just a situation I'm almost just avoiding at this point. One more, Noah. I know it doesn't sound popular, but you like Baylor Shireman fantasy and Brandon Williams fantasy. I want to look at Baylor Shireman, see what he's done without Jaylen Brown this year. Let's see. So the last 2 games without Jaylen Brown, Baylor Shireman, he has been pretty good. 29 PRA, 22 PRA, so obviously that's going to be good for fantasy. These other games, though, one game he only played 8 minutes. He's starting now, so his minutes should be more secure. He has played 31 minutes, 23 minutes the last 2 games without Jaylen Brown. I think his line I saw was at 20 and a half, I believe, or maybe 19 and a half. Where is it at? Yeah, 19 and a half. I'd lean the over there. Honestly, if I had to pick a side on that, I'd lean the over. And then Brandon Williams fantasy. So, let's see. I know Brandon Williams is a player that, like, when he gets minutes, he's typically pretty productive. Now that they do have Chris Middleton, like that's not great for Brandon Williams minutes, but last game he did play 22, game before that 18, game before that 29. I'd expect him to be in, like, the low 20s, probably like 22, 23. Let's see what he's done without Cooper Flagg this year. He has been more productive. 22 PRA per game this season without Flagg, 23.4 PRA. That obviously equates to probably like 26 fantasy points, 27 fantasy points. I know last game, or it might not have been last game, but they did start Tyus Jones at point guard pretty recently. Last game, though, Tyus Jones only played like 11 minutes. I think Williams is the guy you expect to get most of the point guard minutes. He got 22 minutes last game. If he plays like 22 to 24 minutes, he probably projects to average about a fantasy point per minute, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't hate over 24 fantasy there. I think that's okay. Let me look at this game, or this season, when he plays between like 20 to 24 minutes. Let's see. So with 20 to 24 minutes, he's averaging 22 PRA per game, which again, that probably equals like 25, 26 fantasy points. So yeah, 24 fantasy on Brandon Williams. I don't hate the over there. I don't hate that. Okay, we just got the Pacers starting lineup: Nembhard, Jones, Shepherd, Walker, and Huff. So I believe that was as expected. Or no, let's see. I think Kobe Brown was expected to start. They don't have props up for Kobe Brown, though, I bet. They do have props up for Kobe Brown. You could maybe take Kobe Brown under 9.5 points since he's not starting. He was expected to start. But, like, he's still going to play a good amount off the bench. So, yeah, I wouldn't be betting that, I don't think. That's nothing that I see a ton of value in. And then Shepherd, I don't think I'd be betting any Shepherd overs. Just joined Noah. Do you think Andrew Nembhard, do you like Andrew Nembhard PRA? 26.5 seems kind of low. It's just like, man, with the Pacers right now, there's definitely uncertainty on their main guys. Like Nembhard, we've seen them pull his minutes back. I think last game, they actually did play their guys pretty decent minutes. Like Nembhard did play 29 minutes last game, but the game before that, he only played 21. They're big underdogs today against the Sixers, so like this is a spot where they're probably going to lose anyway. So maybe if I knew that Nembhard played 29 minutes again or 30 minutes, I would like a lot of his overs. But this is one of those situations where there's definitely some uncertainty on his minutes. But the fact that they did play him, 29 minutes last game, that's at least good to see. The game before that, though, his minutes were really cut down in that Wizards game. They were definitely trying to lose that Wizards game for sure. Because, that's another tanking team they were playing against. This game against the Sixers, I don't think they really need to lose this one. They'll probably lose anyway, though, because they're, double-digit underdogs. But that's why his lines are lower, just because there's minutes uncertainty. When you're betting a lot of money on a parlay, what slip type do you normally use? I mean, it all depends on the plays I'm betting on. If there's if there's like if there's an injury play, like if there's some injury news and I know I'm getting something that's like really, really good and it's one play, I'll just do it in a 2-pick. I'll take that one play and then pair it with something. If there's multiple plays from the same team, like if, a player gets ruled out and there's like 2 guys that really benefit and I want to play those 2 guys in a slip together, then I'll add a third pick, or I'll add another pick to pair with those 2. That'll be a third pick. There's really no specific slip type I play. I mean, if you're on Prizepicks, mathematically, the best slip types to play are 6-pick flex, 5-pick flex, and 3-pick power. Mathematically, those are the best slip types to play. But depending on the picks you're betting, like what you're taking, you can still make profitable 2 picks. You can make profitable 4 picks, especially if the plays you're putting in your slip have value. What do you think about Kempor Jr. 11.5 rebounds and assists? Let's see. Let's pull up Props Madness and look at that one. Let's take a look at KPJ rebounds and assists. Said 11.5. Looks like his line's at 12.5 most places. If you got it at 11.5, you're already on a pretty good. You got a pretty good play there. If you're on any of my Florida residents, Hard Rock has his line at 11.5. His line's at 12.5 pretty much everywhere else. But let's look at KPJ RA this year. Obviously, we want to look at games without Giannis. So without Giannis, he is averaging 14 RA per game. His rebounds and assists have been down lately, but these have been some tougher matchups. Toronto, OKC, Orlando. Now they face Miami. Fast-paced team. Obviously, there's going to be rebound potential when you play at a faster pace. There's going to be upside for assist when you play at a faster pace because you're just going to have more possessions. So it should be a decent spot for KPJ to get rebounds and assists. He's been playing pretty good minutes, 31, 31, 32. Some of these games have been blowouts too. Lost by 28, won by 21, won by 17. I think this game has like a pretty close spread. So I'm sure if you look at games this year without Giannis when he plays like over 30 minutes, probably pretty good in terms of rebounds and assists. See, 14.1, so still about the same. What about like 32 minutes? So 32 minutes, over in 7 out of 12 games. And you can see like the games he went under, Pistons, Magic, OKC, all terrible matchups. So yeah, I don't hate that over on KPJ RA, especially if you have it at 11.5. Let me shut my door real quick. EKM20 says, what's up, GOAT? Can you look at CJ McCollum over 22 points and rebounds? Yes, we can. Let's take a look at that one. So CJ McCollum did move into the starting lineup last game, and I'm assuming that's going to stick. So now that CJ is expected to start, he definitely projects for more minutes. Last game he did play 32 minutes. I want to say since he's been with Atlanta, he typically hasn't been in that like 30-minute range, but some of these games he did get 30 minutes or so. But yeah, he did get 32 minutes last game. That's probably where he should be at today. There is some blowout risk here because they're playing the Wizards. The Wizards are terrible, but it's also a great matchup. I mean, you look at CJ McCollum, 41% of his points come from above the break threes. Wizards bottom 5 defending that shooting zone. So that's great for CJ. 19% of his points coming from in the restricted area. Wizards terrible defending that shooting zone, 28th, third worst in the league. He does score a lot of his points as a pick and roll ball handler, and the Wizards are pretty average defending that play type, but everything else they're pretty much terrible defending. So it's a great matchup, no doubt. And I think now that CJ is starting, he does project to play more minutes. Let's see. How many games has he played with Atlanta? I want to look at that real quick. So it looks like he's played a lot. So he's played since like going all the way back to February or January 11th. So damn, we got to go way back. Let's see. So 3 more games. So these games are all, These games are all on Atlanta. So he's played 19 games on Atlanta. 22.5 PR, over in 10 out of 19. Let's look at games when he gets at least 30 minutes, though. With at least 30 minutes, he's over in 14 out of 19. Oh, damn, I messed it up. Let me see. I want to just lock that. Let's lock that. So with at least 30 minutes, he's over. Damn it. I'm doing it wrong. See, this is how I'm new to props meta. So I'm looking at his last 19 games, and then when I sort it, within 30 minutes, it pulls up games from that I don't want to have pulled up. Oh well. But I would expect, let's see. So 24 minutes here, 27, 29, 27, 24, 26, 29. So when he's been around like 28, 29 minutes, he's been going over. This game he did go under in 29 minutes, but that was also a terrible matchup against Boston. 31 went over. 29 barely went under. 30 went over in 26 minutes. 32 minutes, but really struggled against Utah. I don't hate it on CJ McCollum. PR. I would expect about 32 minutes-ish if it's a close game. Now, if it's a blowout, there's a chance he could play less, but don't hate it. Jalen Green over 20.5 points. No Jaylen Brown, with him being one of their best defenders, should be an easier path. What do you think? I mean, even without Jaylen Brown, like, the Celtics still have a ton of good defenders. I mean, Derek White's a great defender. I don't think their defense gets, like, significantly worse without Brown. The role for Jalen Green, though, is going to be really good because, like, right now, I mean, the Suns don't have Devin Booker. They don't have Dylan Brooks. I think Grayson Allen's questionable. I mean, last game, like the last few games, you can see like Jalen Green's just been taking a shit ton of shots. 26 shot attempts, 16 shot attempts. Like he's got that working in his favor. Is the matchup good though? It's even without Brown, I don't think it's a great spot. But the role's going to be big. Like that's a positive. Okay, we did just get the Cavs starting lineup, and it looks like it's as expected. Harden, Mitchell, Wade, Mobley, and Allen. So should be all good there. All right, guys, I'm gonna answer a few more questions, and then we're gonna hop out of here in just a few minutes. But I'll answer a couple more questions. Do not touch Kuminga unless you want unders. Look, Kuminga's got upside, man. He's got upside if he gets the minutes. It's just that, like, on the Warriors, I mean, his minutes were so volatile. But now that he's on the Hawks, he could definitely have a good role, and it's a great matchup. Like I said, if I was gonna bet overs on Kuminga, I think I would just take like alt overs, and just hope that like he has a big role right out of the gate, and you get rewarded for it. Might actually take the under on his PRA because he's going to get 0 assists. Well, if you're going to do that, then just take PR. I mean, it's the same thing. If you're taking the over, it makes more sense to take PRA because, why not? Chet may sit out on the front end of the back-to-back. I want to hit Hartenstein overs, but don't feel great about it since he's not been playing many minutes. Yeah, I know Hartenstein. I want to say he's on like a minutes restriction right now. It's not like a specific number of minutes, but I mean, you can see like his last few games, they've kind of been keeping him 18, 24, 26. He's kind of right around like that mid-20s. Honestly, even if Chet gets ruled out, like I doubt Hartenstein's lines go up a ton. Maybe they go up a point, maybe 2 points. I doubt they would go up any more than that. So I don't think there's any big-time value betting Hartenstein overs. I could be wrong, but that's one of those I'd stay away from. No Richards, let's get a real player. There's 11 games, bro. If you don't like the slip, man, then just don't tell it. The people that say that, like, it's so funny, man. Like, you would think people would understand, like, I don't know. If you think it's so easy to just bet on, like, the best players, then just bet on the best players and get rich. But unfortunately, it's not that easy. Fortunately, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, man, we'd all be millionaires. I put LeBron 14.5 Goblin points with Harden 23.5 PRA Taco. Okay, sounds good to me. I typically don't take the Goblins, but if that's something you like, go for it. Derek White 6 assists. Yeah, Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, I was looking at earlier, they both had big assist games without Jaylen Brown this year. I mean, we can see, let's unlock that. White's games this year without Brown in terms of assist. I mean, 9, 7, 5, 9, 8. You look at the potential assists, 15, 12, 10, 7, 16. So, big ball handling role for sure. I feel like 6 probably a good line. Most sites have him at 6.5, kind of juice towards the under. But, I mean, if you can get him at 6, it looks like he's at 6.5 everywhere. But yeah, if you have him at 6, I mean, that's okay. I'm guessing you're probably taking like a 6+ line. So, assuming you're not having to lay like heavy juice on that, I think it's okay. What you think about Jalen Green under for points, 20.5? Yeah, somebody just asked about his over. I think 20.5 is a good line. It's a bad matchup, but he's going to have a big role. He's a player that like he can take 20 shots and still go under 20 points because he can be inefficient. But you're going to get the volume for sure. Check Jarris Walker under 17 points. You can look at Jarris Walker. He's another player that, like, you look at his season-long stats, you're going to see a lot of red, but things are different right now for Jarris Walker because, like, they don't have Siakam. You know, he's playing more minutes. You can look at his games without Siakam this year. He's averaging 17 points per game, over in 3 out of 6 games. I mean, the games he went under, he shot 4 for 14, he shot 4 for 12, and he shot 3 for 11. So, like, if he doesn't shoot the ball terribly, he's going to have a pretty good chance at getting at least close to, if not over 17 points, because he's going to play pretty good minutes. I mean, last game, his points prop was 20.5. Now, they didn't have Andrew Nembhard last game, but still. I feel like 17 is a good line on Jarris. Most sites have him at 17.5, slightly juiced to the under. I mean, if you're going to bet his under, you might as well bet it at 17.5, you know, where all these sites have him at 17.5. You think Joel's on a minutes restriction? I mean, his lines are set like he's playing full minutes, so I would say no. I mean, maybe he's limited to like 30. I doubt he comes back and plays like 36 minutes first game back, but I didn't see anything like specific on a minutes restriction, so I'm assuming pretty much full for Joel, close to it at least. Also, Peyton Pritchard over 32.5 PRA. No Brown should be easy money. He crushes even with him, especially with him out of the lineup. He has had really good games without Brown this year. Pritchard has. Let's look. So he's played 5 games without Jaylen Brown. He is over this line in all 5 games. 34, 50, 35, 39, and 37 PRA. Now, things are definitely a little bit different now because they do have Nikola Vucevic. But, I mean, even with Vuce, I mean, Pritchard's still been crushing. Pritchard's definitely been playing well. And, again, historically, he's been really good without Jaylen Brown. He's been very good this season without Jaylen Brown. If you got him at, what did you say, 32.5? If you got him at 32.5, I think that's okay because, I mean, his line's at 33.5 most books. DraftKings has him at 33.5, FanDuel 33.5. So, yeah, 32.5, I would have been fine taking that. You obviously can see that, you know, the hit rate's really good without Jaylen Brown, at least this season. You ready for MLB, Noah? I mean, yeah, I'm ready for MLB. MLB's not my favorite sport. I love NBA. NBA's my favorite sport. Like, I've said this so many times, I love just the, madness, the mayhem of NBA, trying to project out minutes, the injury news, how stuff can change all the time. NBA's a lot more hectic, but I like it that way. MLB's kind of like more of a relaxing sport, You can research during the day, and then you get the lineups 4 hours before the game starts. You got to check the weather, but other than that, like, that's really it. Whereas, like, with NBA, you kind of always have to be on the clock, always ready to make changes, to put maybe more bets in depending on injury news. But I am ready for MLB. I do enjoy MLB. Not as much as NBA, though. Someone's asking about Draymond Fantasy, not on a minutes limit, but could be in foul trouble. I mean, you could say that for every game for Draymond. Like, he can get in foul trouble every game. I will say they don't have Al Horford tonight, so the minutes should be more secure for Draymond. Let's look. So this season, Draymond's averaging 26.6 minutes per game without Al Horford. His minutes actually go down. That's surprising. What about no Horford, no Porzingis? Okay, so yeah, we haven't seen that sample yet. So surprisingly, his minutes actually have gone down without Horford, but I bet you some of these games were probably like, he probably got fucking ejected or something, like just doing typical Draymond stuff. Yeah, there's one game he played 8 minutes. That was probably an ejection or something. 18 minutes, probably an ejection. 12 minutes, probably an ejection. But yeah, I think without Horford, his minutes are more secure. The matchup against the Pelicans is pretty good. I want to say Draymond's fantasy was at like 24.5 earlier today. It's come up a lot. So the market's betting Draymond overs for sure if you want to trust the market. I think 28.5 is a good line, though. If you could have got it before it moved, I would have been okay with it. But at 28.5, I don't think I'd be like running to bet any overs there. What was the slip? This is the stream slip for today. Kevin Porter Jr. Taco with Jeremiah Fears under 24.5 fantasy and Nick Richards over 15.5 PRA. If you want to know why I took these plays, you can just rewind the stream. I explained them earlier in the stream. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, guys. Games are about to start here in a few minutes. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Appreciate your support as always. Thanks to everyone watching the streams, liking the streams. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the streams when you come in. Helps to get these streams out to more people. Trying to get more people in here. Because at the end of the day, I'm really just trying to help you guys make money, man. But yeah, love you guys. Thanks for watching as always. Should be live again tomorrow, most likely. I think we only have... What's the slate look like for tomorrow? I think it's actually a decent slate. Let's see. 6 games tomorrow. So for a Wednesday, that's not as many as we're used to. But I'll still be live tomorrow. It looks like the games do start at 7:30. So I might go live at like 7 tomorrow. It might be a little bit of a later stream. But yeah, we'll still be live tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Good luck tonight. Peace out, everybody.